Well, my friends, welcome to another edition of More Bad News. Not so bad this week. I'm coming to you on Passover, Easter, Ramadan. I mean, this is as good as it gets for the Abrahamic religions. And I thought that I would say a few words about the holiday season and about the three religions, my perspective on the three religions. I'm going to be releasing a few small clips that I made before today for the relating to Passover, but what I wanted to do today was to focus on Judaism, Christianity, and Islam as these three religions, monotheistic religions. Now, there are other monotheistic religions. I mean, Zoroastrianism is a monotheistic religion, but it's not part of the Abrahamic tradition. And the Yazidi are monotheists, older, as Judaism, but not part of the Abrahamic monotheism. When you talk about the Abrahamic tradition, you're talking about the religions that recognize Abraham as a father, source, a patriarch, saint, whatever, and inspiration. Their customs and religion flows from the stories of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. Or at least Abraham, Ishmael, if you look at Judaism, you find that there's Orthodox, conservative, Reform, Hasidic, Misnagdish. There are Jews. They're just Jews who are Buddhists. There are all kinds of different Jewish denominations, and there are all kinds of different Christian denominations, all kinds of Muslim denominations. The point being that we never could get along with each other. There's the joke about it. You have two Jews and you have three synagogues. They constantly arguing with one another and splitting off. I remember a conversation I had with my good friend Kevin Farrell, who used to live here in Big Rapids, the minister of the Charity Baptist Church, and he said that there are 50 denominations of Baptists, so it's like and that he said that his parents, that his mother, grudgingly was willing to admit that his father it might make it into heaven because they came from two slightly different denominations of the Baptist Church. But the three religions have a lot in common, and intolerance is one of the things that they do have in common. These are not particularly. We end up being intolerant towards people who don't do things our way, and that's it's a character trait. It's not a particularly good character trait, but it is a character trait of these three religions. At any rate, it was this week we read for Passover. We read the Song of Songs on Saturday, Shabbos Chol Pesach, and this is the book that I recommend. It is incredibly good. It's Ariel and Hannah Bloch, the Song of Songs, and it comes with in the back. They take every word in it and they have a little essay on each word. The translations are absolutely fabulously beautiful, and this book never mentions the name of God, as the books say in their introduction, and as any serious scholar understands. This is the marriage of Greek and Hebrew. These are love songs of two young people who are just emerging into sexual adulthood, They meet at night and separate in the day. They're not married. There is nothing wrong with what they're doing. They're just incredibly passionately in love with one another, in that kind of love that a 17, 16, 17-year-old would have coming into it. And Rabbi Akiva, who is this great romantic. He was this poor child, and he worked for this incredibly wealthy guy, doing the gardening or something, or taking care of his sheep. And he fell in love with Rachel, the billionaire's daughter. And she said that she would marry him as long as he would go and study and become a scholar. She saw something in him. Her father said, "You marry that bum, and I'm cutting you off," and that's exactly what he did. And so she worked. She sold her hair. She just did everything to enable Akiva to study, and he eventually became one of the greatest scholars in all of Jewish tradition. He's incredibly important, and he said of this book, when they were debating, well, should we put this? This is it's so sexually explicit. There's especially the part where she describes her lover as an apricot tree, and he's got these apricots hanging from his tree, and she likes to nibble on his apricots. That kind of stuff. So they were discussing, William, do you want to have that in the Torah? And Rabbi Akiva said, well, all of the Torah is holy. The Song of Songs, Shir HaShirim, is the holiest of the holy. And that ended the debate. Thank God it was included in the canon, and it is here for us today to enjoy this totally secular poem that has all kinds of Greek loanwords and Greek imagery in it. And it's just a delight. It's the high point of my Pesach, pulling out my copy of the Song of Songs and reading it. Karen and I read it together. So that's it. I have a number of clips that I'm posting today. I wanted to wish everyone happy Easter, Ramadan Mubarak, happy Pesach, and I'll be back with you next week. I hope you enjoy the other videos that I'm going to be posting this week.